Hello, and welcome to Straight from the Cloverfield, episode 112, part 2 with Kigan. Today, I'm going to talk about this fact. They protect what we have a right to know about and neglect the lifeline of the most vulnerable. Clowns who choose to remain nameless are continuing their mission to sabotage the disabled community. The Rat Pack is making plans behind our backs and looking into the disability status and Social Security benefits of the most vulnerable. All of those taking part in this gross violation of human rights need to be prosecuted immediately, as well as Agent Orange, Muskrat, Doge, and all those who give them the access, as well as those who failed to put a foolproof system in place. We know it's possible to do this. After all, they do a superb job in protecting their shenanigans in Area 51 pretty well. Why is the sensitive information of the most vulnerable so easily able to be accessed by strangers who do not understand Social Security? When it comes to Social Security conversation, Social Security recipients who are unable to work because of severe chronic disabilities and unpredictable disabilities are conveniently forgotten. Just because they don't conform to the slave labor workforce doesn't mean they do not contribute to the community in other ways. They matter too. Social Security for individuals with disabilities only became a thing when the president became disabled and grew some empathy for the disabled community. Before that, nobody gave a shit, and disabled people were thrown in homes under terrible conditions and neglected. These vermin want a repeat of that. They aren't going to get what they want. Cost consciousness is rising. Nurses, disabled veterans, and disabled people are using their abilities to stand up and speak out in defense of those who are unable to. There are already enough difficulties in getting disability benefits and accessing disability transportation. Getting disability benefits is no walk in the park. You have to see their doctors, not just yours, to qualify. I don't understand how someone else can tell you that you are disabled to begin with. The person with a disability knows their conditions and their strengths and weaknesses better than anyone. They want to make it so people have to come into the office to get benefits or get back on their benefits if some ignorant fool or malfunctioning computer decides that you are dead, which has happened. Some people cannot easily travel. Transportation for the disabled is limited. Transportation for the severely disabled can cause pain, suffering, and physical injury. My partner's late husband had Duchenne muscular dystrophy, an incurable muscle wasting condition, muscle disease. He did not have the strength to hold his body up. He flopped and was extremely delicate like a silicone doll. He was completely at free fall. Maybe he was strapped in, maybe he had a strap on. Doesn't matter. His body would go back and forth and it would cause great pain through every bump. It would hit his side supports and cause severe rib pain. He had to be on prednisone and he took medication that made his bones weak. He had to be moved carefully. He had back fractures. Traveling was not fit for him. He drove as long as he could. He had special hand controls, which was wonderful. He did a lot with his life and he had a lot of accomplishments. And he had the hand controls, but eventually it just became too much and he was not able to drive. And any time we had to take that transportation, he'd be in great pain. Even when somebody drove him with bumps and the horrible road conditions that we always rolling over. And if people did things more remotely, we wouldn't have to deal with the roads and the bumpy conditions and the pain that causes people when the bumps hit and the dangers that it can cause. We have this online ability with AI helping us as an ally in situations like this. AI can be an ally, but AI can also be trained to be nefarious, like Muskrat's Neuralink. But AI is a great ally and helps us to connect, can help people to connect with doctors and Social Security if they had to through the Zoom program. because it's a safer option and better for the planet, so people don't have to travel so much and beat up the planet and tear things down of other beings' homes and have an eyesore. We can connect that way with the Zoom and online groups that we connect with each other with. But I'm trying to make the point that travel for people with disabilities is extremely difficult. My partner has a limited bus schedule system. They don't even come here on weekends. She has limited places she can go because the bus doesn't always run there. And they want to fire these social security workers and make people have to travel even longer and be in pain or have to find a place that actually goes there. Disability travel is shit. And they expect them to travel now. How dare they? He flopped and was extremely delicate like a silicone doll. Bumps, even minor ones, like I said, would cause him to thrash into his side supports and hurt his ribs. If they want to pull this shit, they need to have a home visit from Social Security, where they come to them in person because they're not going to be hurt through the travel, and they can easily travel, unlike somebody with a disability. So, if you want this to happen, then you better make sure that you have somewhere where the Social Security comes to the recipient. They need to come to them then. That's reasonable accommodation. And if it's not accepted, that's discrimination against the disabled. That is reasonable accommodation. And that needs to be respected. It's not entitlement. It's not an entitlement. None of it is an entitlement. It's helping people live who cannot work or are very disabled and just need to be able to survive. Because remember, like we always say, a disability is a full-time job. And some people have seizures and severe mental issues. And people look at them like, I don't see a problem. You don't know them, you're not them. It's none of your business and it's not your concern. If you had the problem, you would get the same, you would receive what they get. But on top of that, they have to be worried about losing what they have and proving their own disability and feeling guilty when they shouldn't. It's dehumanizing. They have been firing Social Security workers and crashing computers that people with disabilities depend on for life support, since they know a lot of people are speaking out and they know that they don't have the public consent for this. So basically they're doing quote-unquote rape to the masses. They're still firing workers, going through people's files and crashing computers. Because now they're going to try to just destroy it. Because they know damn well we're going to stand up against this. So they've been firing Social Security workers, crashing computers that people with disabilities depend on for life support, firing the Social Security workers, people have to travel a lot if they get accused of being dead. So they have to travel in pain. Some people are hooked up to a lot of machines. One of the Rat Pack members seeking access to sensitive information about people with disabilities has been known to be a hacker that steals and sells people's private data. So nobody has a problem with some strangers going in there, knowing that one of them did this. People that don't want to reveal their names just get to have at it. It's a metaphorical rape, is exactly what it is. You don't prey on the most vulnerable. People have had their payments stopped because they were presumed dead and they had to go to Social Security to prove otherwise. Like I said, because I don't understand why people are not enraged about this more, or don't understand it. The most vulnerable and their information needs some Area 51-like protection. And all who allowed the Rat Pack access need to be held accountable, as well as the Doge Rat Pack. This is absolutely disgraceful. These strangers, with no medical background, understanding, or compassion for individual disabilities, seek to audit disability recipients and question their disabilities. Are they going to have strip searches and scar checks too? People who have had to fight to prove their disabilities are terrified of losing their lifeline. This is harassment and dehumanization. People's private health conditions are none of Mumps or the Rat Pack's business. Now is the moment in which people with disabilities must gather together and fight these transgressions. These monsters and their greed are the most anti-Christ you can get. However, the amount of individuals who are disabled outnumber them across the planet, and all of the wars that they have funded has created even more people with disabilities. And we all deserve to live our lives and have our basic needs. Use your voice, vocal device, elevate your standing chair, lift your prosthetic arm, breathe into your breathing device. We must come together, because those committing the waste, fraud, and abuse will do anything to prove their delusional suspicions about us. They will never admit that they are wrong, and they will continue to say that we are dead. The truth is, they are dead. They are soulless, and they will never know true power, because they have never faced the fire that we have walked through, and love always prevails. I thank you for listening, and I encourage you to flood the earth with this question: why does the war fund have an infinite trickle while the lifeline of the most vulnerable always has a deadline? I will see you next time.